Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. Today, it's me, Mike, Ryan, and Joel holding it down for you guys. We don't have a guest this week.
No guest. We can still applaud for ourselves.
We can applaud, yes.
We can applaud for ourselves.
So no guest this week. Schedules didn't work out, but we're very excited of some upcoming guests we got going on. Mike, you're up in the lake house. You just went on a beautiful Canada trip. Let's jump into that. How did that go?
Well, I drove down to Ontario, Canada, and I went and saw 8 of our vendors in 2 days. I guess you can call it a farmathon.
Nice.
It's been almost 3 years since I've been to Ontario region, and I wanted to go and say hi. I'm so close. I'm about 5-hour drive, so it wasn't that bad. And I went and saw hi. What I got out of it the most was I went and saw a couple of our newer suppliers that I've never seen before, and I was really, really impressed with the technology and the automation. And basically, I felt like these big operations, they have no fear whatsoever. They go all in. When they have an idea, they invest in it. You know, I used to make bouquets, and I used to have a couple bouquet lines, and, that really made life simple compared to what it was like making bouquets by hand. But to see things that I used to dream about, like a machine that sleeves 4 bunches at the same time without any people, is just blows my mind.
Right?
And it was amazing, yeah. And I sent you some videos on that, and just the whole technology, the robotics. You see these things about Ford Motor Company and GM. They're ramping up all automated with robots doing all the work. They have robots.
That's how it
doing
was.
Stuff.
You showed us the videos. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah. So on that respect, it was great. It was great to see our friends from Rosa Flora. One of the things I really enjoyed as well was I got to meet Carl from Green Park and his family.
Nice.
We've been working. What a beautiful land they have. Beautiful land. It's so well taken care of, and these people are so passionate about what they're doing. And it's a family affair. Like, they don't have outsiders. They have, when things come into harvest, they got to get the whole family over there.
The kids, cousins, grandchildren.
The whole family comes out. The whole family. Carl was telling me that he had so much production once, he had to call the school for some students to come out and get some part-time work. Yeah.
I need you to really release some kids early.
Really interesting. I just, what I find is discovering these new products that are not normal, like the calancho.
Yeah.
The calancho plant is a staple of Canadian production and exports.
But it's normally.
But calancho is like, where did that come from? Now, I did see Ball. I believe it's Ball. They have some in South America.
Yeah.
And I know Sunshine is growing some right now, and they're really long stems. I mean, that's the future. But the ones I saw from Canada, they're not really long, but they're very compact. But there's a lot of flower, a lot of cluster, and I think it's and people don't realize it's a succulent, so it lasts for a month in flower cut. It lasts for a long time, and if you just look at the white, how the white opens up. We were talking like it's a great substitute for Bouvardia. Mm-hmm. You cannot buy a box of Bouvardia and have it fucking arrive alive. It's almost impossible to find great Bouvardia anymore. Yeah, it's almost impossible. So like white calancho is like the next best, greatest sub ever to white Bouvardia, and it'll last you 4 times longer. But I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit long. I have to send a shout out to the people at OnStar because they gave me navigation from place to place. I got to see a lot of back roads.
Oh,
They
so you
probably
didn't
took
do it
me.
on your cell phone. You did it on the car
Yeah, I
itself.
did it on the
Nice.
car. Yeah, yeah.
Why?
And what you mean? Why?
Why? Why didn't you use your phone or
'Cause
anything?
I,
Was curious.
because I pay every year for OnStar. Let them work.
Yeah.
Let them work.
All right.
I mean,
But it works out because in between he was making calls and catching up and checking in on
yeah,
people.
Smart.
yeah, yeah. No, but it was really good. But it's you know, in between the visits, I'm on the phone putting out fires with all this situation that's arising from the strikes in Ecuador. It's I didn't think it would last this long. Honestly, I thought it'd be kind of calmed down and over by now. In 2019, they had a strike like this, but it was kind of over kind of quick. This time, it doesn't look that way. So, as much as good time I was having these meetings and meeting these people and seeing the most amazing quality freeze gel or ranunculus that you've seen in a long, long time. And just being able to discover these new products, and to see how millions and millions and millions of stems of peonies are being stored and produced into bouquets for Trader Joe's and for the masses. Um, it was cool, man. The whole thing was cool,
I mean,
but
it's
stressful.
yeah. I mean,
But
it's awesome. You
stressful.
got to go visit our vendors. I mean, 3 years is a long time not being able to, sit down face to face and see some people. I mean, we got to see Scott and Adam and them here at the IFE show, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
different in a visit. It's different when you go up there.
Yeah, well, the just the buildings they have and just everything's well taken care of. These people take their businesses seriously. Whether you're small, medium, large, doesn't matter. It's uh, it's mostly a family affair, and they all know each other. They're all friendly competitors with each other. I went to meet Ellie from the trucking company too. I went to meet her.
Nice.
I think she was shocked that I came over there to say hello. But look, man, they're doing a good job as well. But
Yeah, we just
every
unloaded
time,
them.
eh, yeah, every time I smile, every time I had a great meeting, I get in the car and it'll be another bad news, just some other kind of bad news about something. So it kind of like,
Yin and yang,
uh,
huh? Positive and negative at the same time.
yeah, yeah. And today I was on the phone for quite some time. And I got, our big customers, they're worried.
Yeah, I was.
They're worried.
So
They're
let's
worried.
talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, right? At the beginning of this week, there started a national strike from the indigenous communities in Ecuador. It started in the south, but it has continued to spread all week long, to the point where it seems to be almost no one is getting flowers out right now. And that's all flowers from the Ecuador basket.
And not only getting them out, they're not allowing them to work either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, it ain't just flowers.
No.
It's it's everything that is in the countryside. Anything that's going on in the countryside, whether it's in Quito or if it's in another state, it doesn't really matter. They're in the jungle, and it doesn't matter where you are. There's some sort of striking going on, and flowers is affected. Broccoli is affected. Bananas are affected. Chocolate's affected. Rubber's affected, and God knows what else.
Seafood,
Quinoa.
shrimp. That's a big
Yeah,
export for them. They all have. Everyone has to be feeling the same thing.
soybeans, quinoa, corn, all this stuff. They don't want anyone to work until the government gives them what they want. So this happened 3 years ago in 2019, and there was eventually a meeting of the leaders of the indigenous community and the president at that time.
That wasn't the current president, right? It wasn't Lasso.
No, no, the new president was not there. They they came to some kind of a midpoint agreement, and everybody went back to work. Everyone went back to work. So it really sucks for. It doesn't just suck for us as importers or owners of a farm, but it also sucks for the people too, because there are many people that want to. They want to support these ideas, and they want to support what are all these demands by the community to the government. And some of the demands are legit, in my opinion. I think, it sounds perfectly reasonable to me for the government to take a look at it. But what we have is a situation where the list is really long of demands. The demand list is really long, and it's unfair to those people who are sacrificing forcibly to support the strike. Like, they want to go to work, but they can't go to work because their safety is at risk.
Yeah, the idea is you're either with us or against us. Almost. That's kind of how it feels.
Well, all these people that are on strike, they ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It's a problem. This is a hard thing for everyone concerned. There is nobody exempt, but the government, from what I understand, is painting a pretty picture. They're saying that the roads are not blocked. They're saying that everything's under control, and the military and the police have everything under control. And really, you can't drive down the road without having your vehicle vandalized if you're working.
Yeah.
If you're working, it doesn't matter if you're driving a bus or driving a flower truck. It doesn't matter. You need to stop, and you need to support the cause. So I'm not an expert in these things, but I speak to people who I respect a lot, like Juanita and Carlos and other friends of mine that, they all give you little bits and pieces, and you kind of put the puzzle together, like what the hell's going on there. And we are, as a company, it's horrible for us because we have flowers that need to be cut. We have plants that need to be cared for, and so does every other flower farm, and so does every broccoli farm, and so does everybody needs.
These are items that can't be left unattended, because then you get problems down the line.
Exactly. So this is what's happening now, and you gotta be a fair person and not push people to work when they shouldn't, and you can't force these guys to try to drive to the airport. I mean, there's a video circulating around with a guy with a helicopter taking 25 fools to the airport.
Yeah, that was on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, so okay, that was a really cool, valiant move, but who the hell can do that? I mean, you gotta have some deep pockets to be doing that.
I mean, the part of the strike is about fuel, the cost of gas, and I mean, imagine what it cost a helicopter to take a pallet to the airport.
So that the fuel is one of the major things. Ecuador produces oil, lots of it, and for a million years they've tried to build their own refineries, but because of, I don't know what, maybe corruption, I don't know what the real reasons are why it never finally got built, but money was there for refineries, and refineries never appeared. So what they do is they ship their oil, whatever's not sold to China or whoever, the oil that they intend to keep for themselves gets exported to Venezuela, and Venezuela refines the oil and then ships it back to Ecuador in gasoline. That ain't cheap.
No.
And for expensive. for a million years, the Ecuadorian government has made sure that subsidizes. I'm pretty sure they were subsidizing the cost of the fuel for many years because they were making money from the oil. But I guess now that's not the case. I might not be totally accurate what I'm saying, but this is the gist of it. And look, man, the minimum salary in Ecuador, it's not a big number, and agricultural workers especially, they're on the bottom, the lower end of those numbers. And if you suddenly say, hey, instead of costing me $20 to fill up my car every week, now it's costing me 40 or 50, or if I ride the bus, instead of costing me a quarter to go from one city to the other, now it's going to cost me 75 cents or $1. That takes food out of your mouth, out of your kid's mouth.
It hits them hard.
Yeah, so it's like I think it's like out of order. Now they did increase the salaries, and they're going to do like a gradual annual increase of the salaries of the workers in Ecuador, the minimums. Um, but I don't know what the right answer is, but I don't know how you could default on a World Bank, and I don't know how you could subsidize the fuel for so long and then stop suddenly or increase the prices to the point where, I mean, here, I mean, it sucks for us right here in the U.S. I mean, I paid $5.15 yesterday, and I drive a Chevy, so I have the cheap gas. I get the 87 octane, and it runs just fine. And
I
that's
used to use the expensive gas until Biden came into office. Not to be political, but gas is ridiculous. It's double the cost now. It's double
well,
the
I mean,
cost.
so think about it. Think about it. You know, most it doesn't matter on what level you're at. You're paying attention and you're noticing that it's costing you more money out of your pocket to buy gas. So imagine if you were in Ecuador doing backbreaking work for 8 hours a day, and you were counting on a certain amount of money at the end of the month so you could support your family, and then all of a sudden you have to pay more for gas. It isn't fun.
And
But
it
that's
has
just
to
one
be,
part
yeah,
of
I
it.
was just going to
The
say, it has to
gas
be
is
other
just one
stuff.
part
You
of it.
know, the cost of food must be more expensive. The cost of everything, the cost of a pair of jeans, pair of socks, pair of shoes, whatever, whatever you need, everything's more expensive now because of what's gone on in the world.
I took some notes before this in case we talked about it, and I can give you like a short list of some of the demands that they have if you want to know,
Yeah.
if
No,
you're not
please do.
sure.
Please do share a list.
But the indigenous political party is asking for these demands. They want to control the costs. They want the government to control the cost of the agricultural products. So, like we as rose growers, we have found a 40 to 50% increase in the cost of our fertilizers and chemicals that we need to control disease. Depending how the weather is, we use a lot of it, or we use a moderate amount. But regardless, the cost has gone up 40 to 50% since COVID. So, can you imagine if you just got your small family farm, and you get an X amount of dollars for your broccoli or your roses, whatever. There's lots of small family farms growing roses. That's a whole nother demand that they have. Suddenly your agricultural products are not either not available to you because you're too small, or they cost you more money. So yeah, that's
Cost of cardboard, all these
so
things
you're
are up.
paying higher gas prices, you're paying higher prices. They also don't the breeders have been cracking down on a lot of the smaller uh, growers that are growing flowers, maybe without a license, and they want to be exempt from paying any royalties.
Hmm.
It's on their list. That's on their list. Um, they want more money for education. They want more money for health care from the government. They they want any debts or loans to the people suffering to be. They want the interest reduced, and they want more time to pay because of the costs are going up. They're not able to keep up with their payments, I guess. Again, I'm not a reporter. I'm just piecing this all together. I could be dead wrong on half the things that I'm saying here, but this is all from good information that I'm getting from people on the ground in Ecuador. And everyone hears everything, and everyone's talking about it, and everybody's now taking it super serious because it's affecting their business. And I'm trying not to give out any bad information, but what I know is what I'm told, and what I read is what I read, and this is a short list of the long list. Um, there's also something going on where the government is like privatizing the state-owned electric power company.
Hmm.
These folks don't like that. They don't want them to do it. They also are privatizing the state-owned bank. They don't want them to do that either. Um, the new president's a banker, so he knows all about finance, I guess, and he's trying to make decisions what he thinks is right, and the people are protesting what they think is right.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot more. Uh, I just it doesn't matter how many more items are on the list until they talk about one of them. I don't see how it's going to calm down. I don't
No.
see how it's going to come down. So you have all these farms. Oh, we're a small farm. So I'm telling you, the bigger your farm, the bigger your problem.
Correct.
You
The more
know,
it
I
costs
mean,
you, the more
it
plants and production you have just sitting there, not being
not
tended to.
yeah, or maybe you had flowers processed and they're in post harvest, ready to be packed, but you can't pack it, you can't ship it.
Yeah.
Or you could deliver flowers. You could be one of the fortunate few to get a truck to the airport with flowers, and the flowers are sitting in the cargo agency because the cargo planes don't want to come for a half full plane.
So it's just
So
sitting
they
there
need.
till who knows? It
I'm
could just
guessing. I mean, we just got
man.
flowers today that we were delivered to the cargo agent on Saturday. Today's Friday.
Yeah, we just got those.
We delivered a Saturday to and Sunday to the cargo agency, and it just came today. So you know,
So what
this
percentage of normal shipping has left Ecuador in the last week? None? Zero?
nothing. It's low numbers, low numbers, low numbers. It's I wish I knew more. I wish I can get to understand it more. But I could tell you from our side of the fence as a company in Miami that's very dependent on Ecuador. You can't just change the channel like a bad TV show.
No.
You have to. We're stuck here. We're really stuck here, and the whole world is trying to move to Colombia to buy flowers. The whole world is trying to move to Kenya and all the other rose producing countries to find flowers. Um, it's a tough deal. This strike is really uh, one for the books. It's one for the books, and you look at it like, okay, as an investor, as somebody who's putting money into that country, which me and mommy put all our savings in that shit. You know what I mean? We we believed in what we were doing, but I got to step back now. I got to say, wait a minute. If this is going to happen every 3 years,
You can't continue to invest in that country, or
no, no,
it's a
no.
risky investment.
Yeah, well, yeah. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it doesn't matter where you invest your money; shit can happen. But I
Correct.
mean, we took a risk in itself just building next to an active volcano. I think so. I mean, it's scary enough, but to have your farm shut down every couple of years because the people are fighting for something that they believe in, um, it ain't good for it. There's a limit to how much we're going to lose,
Yeah.
and I think that's the same for any company. There's a limit to we have to lose. So what about these guys who like own hundreds of hectares of flower production? What happens to them?
And their customers. I mean, I was talking to
What
Juanita,
happened?
and she was telling me that some of her customers were understanding and okay, but there are some customers that are downright furious because maybe a farm on the northern side was able to sneak out a shipment through one route that one night versus, our southern route that is a little more difficult and hard to get through.
So look, those people who are furious, call me. Call me because you need a talking to. You can't be furious at an uncontrollable situation. Your heart should break for what's happening to your suppliers.
Yeah.
Your heart should break to what's happening to these innocent brides who made their deal 7 months ago, a year ago, because they wanted a giant wedding with a million white roses and quicksand roses and all of the things that you can't get somewhere else so easy. And now they have to be called, hey man, you need to sub. You need to use white carnations from Colombia. you know, you need to use something else. You need to use white snapdragons. I don't know, but there ain't no white roses in big numbers to be had consistently. And even if you can get them to the airport, now you got to worry about getting them flown and cleared and delivered on time. And then you need to worry about the quality
Yeah.
because with all this mad rush to pack and harvest and get it to the farm, the quality control is going to suffer. And anybody who can get mad at that, I don't know, man. That doesn't sound that sounds really
And it's
wrong.
tough.
You
It's
you
the,
should be you got to be sympathetic to this. You got to understand this because your business counts on these flowers just as much as everyone else does.
yeah.
And if it pisses you off, you know, write your congressman. But if the president can't get it right and his government can't get it right and get along with the citizens, and no matter if you're the haves or the have-nots, it don't matter who you're getting along with, right? But you need to get along. I don't think the U.S. government is going to go out of their way and say, "Hey, let's help the growers in Ecuador while their people protest." While the citizens are protesting. And it's unfair. It's just unfair. It's like we get screwed over. It's like
All the
we
time.
made all these we made all these investments, and I'm not just speaking about Americans. There are Ecuadorian, Colombian, Dutch
There's people from all over the world
people
invested in
all
that
over
country.
that have invested millions and millions and millions of dollars into building a business in that country, and these things happen. These things happen. The interest rate is very high in Ecuador. It's hard to do banking, hard to get a loan. Everything's hard. They make everything difficult. Um, I love Ecuador. I trust in the country. I trust in the fact that if you want to grow a rose, the greatest place in the world to grow a rose is Ecuador.
Got
And
that right.
maybe somebody can prove that wrong. Maybe they say high elevation Ethiopia is the best place, or whoever knows where. But if you ask anyone in the flower business, what country do you prefer your roses from? 9 out of 10 is going to tell you Ecuador.
Easily.
I don't know, man. If this keeps happening, I don't know if that's going to continue. Because my favorite rose is one that you can get into my shop so I can do my wedding.
Got that right.
That's my favorite shop. That's my favorite place to buy flowers. So, um, man, I wish I was more knowledgeable about everything. I'm getting everything in pieces. I'm looking at these videos. In 2019, our farm was closed. We had them up on the cameras, though. Remember?
Yeah.
And they came onto our farm with a bunch of motorcycles, and they rolled up and down the farm. We watched them on the cameras. They were checking every corner
To make
to
sure
make
that
sure there was
nobody was
nobody.
hiding. Yeah. They
Yeah,
even
if
took
somebody.
the guy that lives on the farm. They even took his food. They were taking his food. So they were taking everything so that nobody would return to the farm. It's tough times, man.
Well, in 2019, they took the food from our kitchen that we had for feeding the people. They took it to feed the strikers. No, man, it's. I've taken about 15,000 Advils in the past 2 days because my head is going to explode. Because it's not only that we're having a rough time making our customers happy in Miami, is that our beautiful boutique little farm is alone right now. You know, and there's not much we can do about it. If you don't do things, if you don't treat your plants a certain amount of times, on a certain schedule, and if you don't upkeep, it takes you a long time to bring it around again.
Yeah.
That's that's why in COVID, when everybody was closed and we couldn't do anything, we kept the farm operating. We kept the workers on a flex schedule. Everyone kept working, and we continued to harvest, but not export. And we continue to fumigate and fertilize and do everything on the schedule we're supposed to do. And that's why the moment that the demand started to wake up, we were able to just flip a switch and start exporting, packing, shipping, and exporting. But here, I don't know how easy that's going to be because we're not able to. Nobody's able to, and if they tell you are, I don't know. That's pretty impressive, but nobody's able to keep up perfectly the way they're supposed to,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm sure that we're getting whatever we can done uh, with management, key personnel, management, key personnel, but there's only so much they can do. There's almost so much they can do. So the longer this takes, the worse the problem's going to be. And in my opinion, the bigger your farm, the bigger your problem's going to be.
Yeah. No, I could, like you said, I could only imagine how it is with people that have 100 hectares, 50,
Exactly.
60 hectares, and that many.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
We haven't seen nothing yet. If it ends tomorrow, that would be great. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's going to be around for a while. I think it's going to be around for a while. And, we've gone through some rough shit before. We'll rebound. We'll come back. But, like you said, you heard that some customers are pissed off.
And there's not that much news in Google, like you said. They're making it seem, like you said, the mainstream media down there is covering up the government.
They don't talk.
They're not really talking about it. So, like, I was Googling the other day, and I couldn't find nothing. I couldn't find an article.
I mean, there's some stuff around now, but it isn't like you ain't going to see Lester Holt talking about it tonight, You're not going to see... It
won't be on 60 Minutes on Sunday,
No, but it should be. It should be. All that stuff should be. This stuff is... You got one of the most difficult situations that any farmer, grower... What about the banana guy?
Yeah.
What happens to him? How many millions of tons of bananas are going to be dumped?
Yeah, there's no stopping the growth for from the bananas from maturing before they're too old to export.
But what if the bananas were already cut? What if they were already cut? What if they were already boxed up and they were supposed to be loaded in sea containers? It never happened.
Not easy.
What happens? I don't mind talking about this on the podcast because people need to know what the frustrations are,
of being a grower in another country.
Yeah. So look at your salespeople. Look at your sales team. In a few days, your cooler is going to be empty. They got to feed their families too.
Yep.
They need flowers to sell. This is a problem all the way down the line. It isn't just the wholesalers or the retailers. It's the salespeople. It's everybody who makes a buck
selling
off from
flowers,
a box of roses. You know what I'm trying to say? It's kind of like it sucks for everybody. It sucks for everybody. And there's only one fix, and that's compromise.
Yeah, but there's no sit down in sight, right? There's no.
So imagine like our government they don't give nothing to kidnappers.
No negotiation with terrorists or anybody they do.
Yeah, right. You take a U.S. citizen, we won't give you nothing to exchange for it, right?
Look at that, special deliveries behind you. All right. Got a little special delivery.
What is it, mommy?
Bird sent you something.
Oh, yeah? You sent me something?
Yeah.
Cheesesteaks?
No, not cheesesteaks this time, but you're close.
Okay. I'm going to open the box. But thank you. But what was I saying?
We had to feed, it hurts everybody down the line. It hurts everybody down the line. Everyone who's selling off of this, then, there's no compromise. There's no sit down. There's nothing set up in sight. There's no end in sight. Right now, we have no end in sight. They're marching to Quito. Everyone's heading to the major city. But like you said, the president left the city. Who knows?
Well, I guess he left for his safety, just like we would take our president out of the White House and put him somewhere, right? Down in the bunker or wherever. I don't know. But the governments might say to themselves, well, if we give them what they want, they're just going to do this shit every day.
Yeah. Instead of every 3 years, we'll get this every other year, and then every year, and then
I'm pretty sure last time there was some sort of compromise. I think compromise is always the answer if you can do it. But we're in uncharted waters here. Uncharted waters here. It's a problem. It's a problem across. What about all the logistics companies in town? They're waiting for their boxes to come so they can handle it.
What about, like you mentioned the cargo planes, the cargo companies. What if they just say, okay, Ecuador is out of business. We're going to contract our planes elsewhere. And then
Yeah,
where are we
yeah,
then when Ecuador
yeah,
says, okay, we're back in business? And they're like, well, I had to put my planes elsewhere for a month.
yeah. They already did probably.
Yeah. These are challenges, man. These are
They
challenges a
already
lot of
did.
people don't think of.
The air freight is in high demand. Never been in higher demand. What about the trucking companies? They're gonna go half full.
No, you can't afford to. Not
You
at these
know,
fuel
Ecuador
rates.
brings a lot of flowers to the U.S. So if any flowers are arriving to the U.S. now, it's very few by plane, and it must be the last remaining sea containers that were still on the way
Yeah.
before that happened, right? Unfortunately for us, we don't ride on sea containers, so we're kind of screwed. But we'll find a way somehow. We'll take care of our orders somehow.
Are sea
We
containers
just
going? Are sea containers going out?
Well, if sea containers are arriving, they were sent 2 weeks ago, maybe more. So it takes like 14 days
Mm.
for a sea container to be shipped and arrive. So there are some of these larger farms that have inventory in Miami, as well as Miami importers that bring a lot of flowers by sea container from Ecuador. They've figured out the way to do it. Um, so I would guess that's the only really thing showing up. I can't see. I haven't heard of any big volumes coming out of any farms. I did hear that small little indigenous owned farms are allowed to pass through. I don't know how true that is. That's the chisme that I heard.
That's probably true. I mean, they're indigenous owned. You would think you help your own people if you can, if you can prove that you're an
Yeah,
indigenous owned.
yeah, but there are big farms owned by indigenous people too. You know, there's not only small ones, but the small ones apparently are being let through.
Hmm.
In the north, that's the chisme I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I would think it probably is true on some level.
I would believe, and I
On
think
some
the
level,
North, it really didn't. They really weren't blocking the roads in the North in the earlier part of the week, so they were able to get some flowers out before the southern regions.
yeah, it's a problem, man. It's a problem, and it isn't just the flower growers affected. It isn't just us in Miami. It isn't just the wholesalers. It isn't just the
No,
florists.
this is
It isn't.
worldwide. This is a
It's
worldwide problem.
no, but everyone who has a hand in the production of those flowers, everybody has a hand in the growing, the sales, there's transportation, everything. It's all you're affected. You're affected. Somehow you're going to be affected. And it's been tough enough. Pre-COVID, it was tough enough to make a buck as a flower grower, and we've had a good couple years, and now these kind of things happen. People are going to start losing money again.
Yeah,
No one's
takes
not going to
a
take a
takes
loss
the
from
wind
this.
out of everyone's sail. Takes a wind out of
Yeah,
everyone's sail.
nobody's not going to take a loss.
Correct.
The question is, how much are you going to lose? I can't even put a number on it. I was talking to Juanita earlier. We don't even know what it's going to cost us. We don't even know. We'll know when the time comes. That's it. I could tell you that the whole chain is losing.
Damn.
The whole chain is losing, and people are kind of quiet about it. People are sharing some videos on the internet, and people
It
are
almost feels
advising
it
their
almost
customers.
feels like no one's coolers have fully reached that critical, almost empty feeling.
Exactly. That's
Because
what we were talking about
there's no
earlier.
panic yet. There's no, oh my god, I gotta take what you got, or I'll, you know what, I'll take that. I'll take that what Vendela because I don't think I'm gonna ever find the white rose, so I'll take that one. There's or instead of people looking for a pink moondao, they'll wait. They're still hunting. They don't want to take an engagement, or they don't want to take a Jessica or whatever light pink rose you have. None of that has set in yet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a terrible situation that doesn't have any solutions.
Do you have any
And I'm worried.
suggestions then of what you would do if you're a wholesaler, if you're a florist? Obviously, it's make subs but
Well, listen, I've been on my soapbox for 2 years already, telling people don't sell variety, sell color, and try to give yourself a back door with any event
Commitments.
that you do. Yeah. The problem is that, like, Kareen said, and a million other people have said, is that these people have an image to protect, and they sell you a look. They sell you. They sample you. They let you help them build the project.
Mm-hmm.
They tweak it and exactly what you want. And then the past 6 months, it's like, yeah, everything's fine. My wholesaler said everything's fine. Everything's great. Don't worry. It's good. It's good. No problem. And then a week before the wedding, here's the phone call. There's a strike in Ecuador. What strike? I didn't hear shit on the news about any strike. What do you mean? What do you mean? I just went to Trader Joe's. They're loaded with roses. What do you mean you can't get it from me?
Those are the challenges. Those are wild challenges.
Sailors are so unfairly beat up. You know what I mean? No, but the wholesaler is caught in the middle, man. The farm promised it to him, but the farm ain't got no workers. Or if the farm's got workers, they can't get to the airport.
It's a nightmare situation. It really is. Stuff that keeps you stressed out at night. I hear the bird. You keep hearing the bird in the background.
yellow
That bird.
sapsucker, yellow.
We gotta give that guy credit.
I don't like how he's chiming in on this heavy conversation. He's brightening up the conversation with his chirping. This bird.
So, Ryan, I don't mean to make it a heavy conversation, but I'm just, I mean...
No, it's not a heavy conversation like John talking about his, but it's a serious topic. We need to...
No, I feel like I'm laying on the sofa talking to the shrink, man, because it's just, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to really...
It's a helpless moment.
Can be done. Yeah, exactly. So just talking about it is it's actually good for you. So it's good that we're doing this.
That way you don't
I'm
keep
worried
it all
about.
in.
I don't know. This.
You know how I worry about the people.
Of course,
I'm always
of
worried
course,
about their
of course.
well-being.
Yeah.
You're
absolutely right. There's no wiggle room for any of them. They don't have money saved in the bank to get them through tough times. Like their houses.
Well, even if they do have a couple of dollars socked away, good for them. They're gonna blow it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
because they got to get by.
They don't have a choice now.
All the work that they've done to save that money and how hard it is, being what they make, that's terrible. It's terrible. And no help from the government, and the government's not talking to the indigenous people, and we're not political aces. We don't know if they've been talking before or if the government's ignored them and they felt that this was their only route. We don't know any of this. We're the outsiders, who are being affected by what's going on.
So Wani said that the government is saying, okay, let's talk, but they're not really inviting the people to be at a certain place at a certain time to talk. Or they're not saying, hey, I'll meet you here, I'll meet you there. Let's talk about this. Let's see what we can work out. Let's try to de-escalate everything. Let's de-escalate everything so we can at least function as a country and not suffer any more economic problems more than what we already have. They're not doing that. They're not saying, hey, I'll meet you at the end of the road. What was that in the movie Casino? They met at the end of the road. Where was that? In the desert, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Why aren't you trying to break bread and talk a little bit and let's resolve it, because everybody's going to lose, including the government.
Yeah. Everyone loses here.
Everybody loses. Nobody wins. And I mean, I'm not political, but I mean, a couple of things on the list I think are legit. I think, we could do something to help them get to where they want to be, especially when they talk about healthcare and education. You know?
It's just tough once you subsidize the oil for so long and then you just take it away, and
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
those are things. Those are things that hurt, more than anything, because that's instant impact on their income. Instant impact. It's the difference between putting chicken out for dinner or, hey guys, we're eating bread again.
Mm.
Man. So our hearts bleed out to, to everyone affected by this, not just in Ecuador, worldwide. It's a situation out of all of our hands. It's something that, unfortunately, we got to live through this. We got to get through this. We got to grind through this and see, hopefully come out the other side better.
Do you want to talk about more alternative options and things we can do to help the situation? Like there's preserved roses. You can try and use some of that. You can get creative. Like what? Or just...
It's a great point, Ryan. It's a great point,
Yeah.
Ryan. We for sure can offer substitutions of preserved roses in some cases, but I mean, Casey was telling me about one big event he has, and they're going back to the bride and they're offering them white peonies
Yeah.
instead of white roses, which right now, with the price of white roses, you could almost not lose any money.
Yeah.
It's going to be almost a wash. Because the pricing of white roses is getting to the white peony price. But look, there is no more creative geniuses with artistic geniuses than these event florists, or any florists for that matter. They're artists, they're creative people, and I know that they can make changes and make it look good. The problem and the tough pill to swallow is I took a deposit, I gave them a look, and I don't want to risk a bad Google review or a bad word of mouth review, so I gotta fight like hell to get them what I promised them.
Mm.
And who can blame them for that? I mean, that's
And
Yeah,
that's how it is.
You're made or break with those reviews, the knot and all those things like that.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
We had Carlos.
Exactly.
And
We had a guy give us a bad Google review. He gave us a 1-star review because the color was wrong on something. I don't know exactly. I mean, we clearly made a mistake for sure. But we tried to fix the mistake, and instead of letting us fix the mistake at our own expense, he went ahead and gave us a 1-star Google review. Guy, I think he bought from us 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then I went and I looked at this guy's Google reviews. And he has lots of them. But most of them are at fast food restaurants. The one that upset me the most, I think I told you about this, is that
in last week's episode.
Oh, it was?
Love it. No, continue,
you
because
can
I
say.
love it, because I fucking love it.
So this guy gives Cold Stone Creamery a 1-star review. How the fuck is that possible? To have a bad experience with a 14-year-old kid scooping you ice cream.
It's
that?
impossible. To
Who
me, it's
does that?
impossible. I have never had a bad experience at Cold Stone ever, not once, ever. I've
First,
always been
as
happy.
the two fat guys, for sure we don't have bad experience with ice cream.
And I've been to a lot of different Cold Stones, and I've never had a bad experience.
But how do you do that to a 14-year-old kid who's trying to make some extra money after school?
Yeah.
So what if they didn't scoop you in exact 1 and 2 scoopers? So what, man?
Did you read the review?
Well,
What'd the review say?
Does it matter what it says? I'll read it to you. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah,
we need to.
I want to know. Like,
to
did
add
they
that
spit
in
in his ice cream or something? Is the line too long? What did he do?
I'm gonna Google it and I'm gonna find out.
Unless you slam the ice cream cone on my head, I mean that's the only way you're getting a bad review.
You're gonna have to do it from your side because my internet is down at the moment.
Joe's looking it up.
But if you go to this guy, he gave us a 1-star Google review, which we did screw up. There's no question. We ain't perfect, but we didn't do anything intentionally to hurt him. So there's some 14-year-old kid Some 14-year-old kid did not scoop his ice cream to his satisfaction, and his reaction is to go on his phone and give this poor kid a 1-star review.
As
Who
much
does that?
as our society right now relies,
His
on
1-star
reviews,
review for Cold Stone Creamery is because he ordered delivery, items were missing, everything was melted, and it took over an hour to receive. Like you're setting yourself up for failure ordering
Who
ice cream.
orders
I
ice cream delivery?
No, I've done it.
Hold
but
on a second.
I know to expect a somewhat melted ice cream. You got to pop it back in the freezer or something when it gets there. But
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You can order ice cream to be delivered.
on Uber Eats,
Uber Eats, yes.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke or
Here's
an ice
the-
cream.
Oh my
Here's
god!
his review for
That
Matt
is-
for a Chinese restaurant. Used to love this place. Now the food is tasteless. And since when is beef chow mein made with ground beef?
He might have a point there.
This Taco Bell got 5 stars. This Hardee's got 5 stars.
The Taco Bell got 5 stars because he did it before he went to the bathroom.
This McDonald's 1 stars. Rude, unprofessional staff at drive-thru.
Yeah,
It's McDonald's. Like
that's happened to me too. That's happened to me
Wendy's
too.
is
at
another
McDonald's.
drive-thru staff extremely rude and unprofessional.
You know
Yeah.
what really grinds my gears
Listen,
is when they only give me one
Who's happy?
sweet and sour.
Who's happy working at the drive-thru at McDonald's? Who's
Nobody.
happy doing that?
Not one person. Not
So
one person.
come on, get over it. I gave you 2 ketchups. What more you want?
He's a professional Google review. You know, those are one of those things that Google and reviews make companies live in like an unfair.
Look, people are bored. They got the internet and not much else to do.
The internet has given a voice to everybody, and unfortunately, not everybody deserves a voice, or not everybody is as responsible with their voice as they should be. It's
1 star
unfair.
for you.
It's really unfair. Like when I read reviews, because I do the same thing Ryan does, right? Before I go to a restaurant, I want to see the menu, I want to see the reviews, I want to know what's good to eat. The majority of bad star reviews are based upon, oh, the waiter took too long, or oh, it took too long to get sit down, or service related. Not it's very rarely ever food related.
Right, and that's hit or miss. You can go there 5 times a week, and it could be a different experience every
Each
night.
and every time.
If you have a different waiter, you're gonna have a different experience every time. Like, you don't know everybody's business. Somebody could have just gotten, their house fucking repossessed or their car, you know what I mean, or some shit.
Or even that. I mean,
Yeah.
This is Miami. This is a fast pace.
There are certain
hype
places
city.
though in Miami that they tell the waitresses to be a dick.
Yeah.
Not like that place in Vegas where like
Yeah,
they really,
that place is hilarious.
because that place is a whole nother story. But I feel like there's certain places where like the hostesses and they're snobby on purpose. You don't feel that way?
I haven't met a hostess.
You've never met like a snobby
Oh,
hostess?
I've met them, but I haven't been.
You ever been
I've
told,
always,
you have 90 minutes to eat when you go sit down?
Oh,
in
I've never
Miami?
been. No, I've never been told that.
Well, they try to keep you on a time limit. Yo.
Right. Remember when a few years ago when the whole family went to Cracker Barrel? There was like 14 of us, and the waitress disappeared in the middle of the meal. She never came back.
You probably went to smoke a cigarette, right?
She never ever came back.
Fuck this, I'm out. This is
Too many
these-
fucking
said-
questions.
fuck
Fuck these people.
in there. You're fucking.
Man, I feel bad for the event planners and the retail florists and that segment that fully relies on people's word of mouth and sharing good experiences and hopefully producing good memories so that people share
hopefully
those memories.
they'll understand. Hopefully the most people will be flexible. And look, wholesalers are very resourceful. Maybe they'll find the flowers from another country. It isn't a dead Indian yet. There's still chances that everything can go just fine.
What about some of these
Just
like
go fine.
celebrity events and like some of these big TV spots that there is no, like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? Like, what is a florist supposed to do?
So again, like a lot of the big wholesale chains, especially the chains, they have relationships with these really big Colombian farms with lots and lots of production. There are lots of companies in Miami that have farms in Colombia, But if 50 people need 20 boxes, somebody's going to get cut off. Somebody's not going to get what they need. It's going to go to my best number one customer first, and then
Is
it's
where
going to go down the
relationships
line.
matter. Relationships.
Yeah,
matter.
it's what exactly. So I'm sure like this is not the end of the world here. It's just making it extremely inconvenient, and it's not getting people the Ecuadorian flowers that they want.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll find something, you know. There's other
Through
countries that produce
Holland,
roses.
through Africa, you know. We
Yeah,
told
there's other
Celine,
places,
we told
then
Celine,
you get
please
that.
help us get more gardens.
Yeah, but if you get African roses, at 40-50% higher price than you were expecting to pay, and the heads are half the size of what you expected to get,
You need double the order.
it's just nothing's going to be perfect. So the best thing in the world you could do is redo the event using products that you can get and that have an exceptional value, like peonies.
Garden
Um,
roses from a different country and whatnot.
yeah, we got beautiful Lysianthus from Gerber daisies from Canada. Lots of stuff that can really make a wow factor. Um, but the problem is that these people showed a sample like a year ago,
Yeah.
and they took the money deposit a couple weeks ago, not expecting a strike, and then they have to go back and say, "Hey, everything I planned, I got to change it. I can't find everything that I need. Maybe I'll find some of it." Like we've been able to find some stuff for our customers. We haven't left anybody abandoned. Um, but it ain't easy, and they have to make some changes.
Don't be afraid, ladies and gentlemen, to go back to your customer and lay down the truth. Don't wait till the end. Don't think, if you wait till the end, you make it even more stressful. You know, it's happening now. Let's fix it now.
Are you guys getting your information from somewhere specific, or just word of mouth from people in Ecuador? Are you using certain websites, or is there a certain place that you feel like you found the most information, the best information from? Because, like, do you think anybody knew about this was coming? Like, people in Ecuador, do you think they expected this to happen? Like, usually there's a little murmur.
So we did hear of that there was something coming down
Okay.
a few days before it happened by a friend. Juanita had a friend who told her that something's going to happen to be prepared, and it actually did happen. But when it happened at first, it wasn't big. It was very centralized, mostly in the Cotopaxi area where we are. That's where it was really focused, and then over a day or two, then it started in other places, and then it's intensified. And then after they took the leader into custody, I think that's when put a little bit more flame on the fire.
Yeah, it's only getting worse, and it's only progressively getting worse going forward.
And the longer it takes I'm guessing, I'm no politician, but I'm guessing the longer it takes for these guys to get to the table and talk, the worse it's going to get for everyone, including the strikers. They're going to be just as hurt as everyone else, unfortunately. But they obviously believe in what they're asking for.
Just a tough situation all around. Tough situation. No fun. Very stressful.
But we'll be here. We'll keep them updated, I assume. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep everybody
Two fat
posted.
guys never stops.
I didn't think it was a good idea to start propaganda about it and start, really, until we really knew what was going on. We tried to fly out when we got word. We tried to fly out everything we could. We got it to the airport, but it still didn't fly out till like 4 days later.
Yeah.
And now, I'm talking to farms every day. They want to work. They want to ship. They want to pack. But they just can't. It's not safe. Our farm is closed for the most part, and we're just waiting to hear.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are working day and night trying to make sure that we are sourcing flowers from all over the world to help cover your shorts and needs during this time. Have no fear. We just wanted to give you a little insight on what's going on and the stress and troubles facing the flower industry worldwide, not just us, but worldwide. But make no mistake about it, Mike is relentless on that phone. Juanita, Majo, Casey, me, Celine, our entire team is making sure that, we're getting flowers and subbing out and trying to get you exactly what we can get you to help you fill those needs. So keep going. We'll get through this together. this is when relationships count more than ever. So have no fear. We're here to help you.
Yep. Stay tuned. We'll continue to give you more information as this situation develops.
All right. So this has been another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, and today was a little more of the ugly of the flower industry. We appreciate you listening, and we'll come back at you soon.